This panel will speak about climate finance opportunities and cases for cities and counties in Kenya. And so, ladies and gentlemen, without wasting time, I'd wish to invite my colleague Andrea, who will come and give you the perspective of GIZ and what we've done, what we are doing, and what we will do as far as climate finance is concerned. Welcome, Andrea.
So basically, this project focuses on 3 areas. First of all, we are supporting with strategies and policies at the national level. Like, for example, we supported the NDC development, which has been submitted in April, which gives the path for climate mitigation and adaptation of Kenya, which is an international commitment for reducing emissions, but also for adapting emissions. And these targets are also linked to conditions. It says 20% of the implementation will be financed domestically, and 80% have to be mobilized from international sources. And this is also why we would like to talk to you today about good governance and managing financial resources, because not only for the national government and for all county governments also, it is important to be able to track how funding is being used, that it's being used in a traceable manner, and that certain principles of compliance are used or are applied. So this is basically one of our components in the projects. On the other hand, we are also supporting to mobilize climate finance. This is why we are very happy also to partner with other organizations here, especially development banks. And last but not least, we are supporting a few ASA counties in the ASA region in support in developing climate strategies and mobilizing financing for that. So yeah, meeting this ambition requires trust, not only from international partners, but basically from everyone who gives money into that system. And here we would like to discuss, where are some good practices, what opportunities for support are also available from other international partners. But our work is not only at policy level, it's also delivering on the ground.
You all know that counties are at the front line of fighting this menace of climate change. And we've done quite a lot to prepare ourselves. For instance, all county governments now have established climate policy and legal frameworks. That is from the climate policies to the climate acts, the climate change action plans. I know of counties who have climate finance policies and even climate change fund regulations. So counties are already prepared in terms of policy and legal infrastructure. So now what remains is implementation, and as all you know, implementation requires financing. We have been benefiting from the funds given to us by FLOCA across all 45 counties. It's only Mombasa and Nairobi that are missing, and that has helped. But now we are looking beyond FLOCA, and we must be prepared to finance climate action post FLOCA, so that our action plans are implemented as envisaged in law and policy.
I think the most prominent financing of climate change in Kenya has been through FLOCA. FLOCA is countywide, and there is no trickle effect in the urban centers, the municipalities, and the cities. Kenya has 5 major cities now. We have Mombasa, Nairobi, Nakuru, Eldoret, and Kisumu. Eldoret, Nakuru, and Kisumu are unique counties because they are cities within a county. So Kisumu as a county has a city of Kisumu. Uasin Gishu as a county has a city of Eldoret. Nakuru as a county has Nakuru as a city. Now, FLOCA takes the generality of all the county. But specifically, when you come to Kisumu, you'll find that Kisumu City, with his new geospatial plan and the new boundaries, has a lot of climate change issues. Kisumu has like has 4 wards that go through perennial flooding. We have Nyalenda, Dunga, Migosi, and part of Nyamanyata A, and the notorious Nyamasaria, where the rivers burst and floods the city. Sometimes it doesn't rain, but when there's a lot of rain, when there are a lot of rains in Nandi Hills, all that water come and floods our rivers after the banks are exploded. And the rising water levels Lake Victoria also gives a lot of challenge. When there's problem in Jinja, Lake Victoria water, there's an overflow. And it causes a lot of disaster. So we suffer a lot of flooding. And you know, flooding comes with a lot of problems. It comes with diseases, it comes with outbreaks, it comes with a lot of social problems.
I wish to thank GIZ for convening this side event. I was a member of the steering committee for Devolution Conference, and I've been a member of the steering committee for various devolution conferences. We made it clear that the true conversation happens inside events. In the plenary there, we make political statements, and then everybody goes home. It is in these side events that we can come up with actionable insights and where we can share and exchange knowledge. My job really was to make some opening remarks. I'm looking forward to listen to my friend, my senior, Dr. Otichilo, who is the father of the Climate Change Act in Kenya. In fact, Dr. Otichilo, our friend Sam Onugbo from Nigeria, when he successfully pushed through the Climate Change Act in Nigeria some 2 years ago, he was given the country's highest individual honor for pushing through the Climate Change Act. I don't know whether you were given one back in 2016 when Kenya became the first country in sub-Saharan Africa to have a Climate Change Act. Kenya has been a leader in that space, and whenever we go for multilateral engagements, we are very proud to talk about our green energy mix, where the bulk of electricity or the bulk of energy in this country is generated from green sources. So I'm looking forward to listening to Dr. Tichilo, and I'm also looking forward to going through the Climate Finance Handbook, which I believe is going to be released at some point. I have not come here to lord it over you because I don't think I know everything within that space. I am your typical politician. I am a jack of all trades and a master of none. So I will make very few remarks in this space. As the chair of the Parliamentary Caucus on Climate Change, first of all, let me tell you how we got to this. After Dr. Tichilo did excellent work back in 2016 and convinced Parliament and the country to have a dedicated law on climate change, there was supposed to be established a climate change fund. And I know that is related to the conversation we are having today. And various other entities, for example, the Climate Change Council, was supposed to be chaired by the president and was supposed to be the apex body for conversations on climate issues. We realized that the law was not being implemented. And we also realized that if you are to rely on departmental committees to oversight the implementation of the act, departmental committees were chaired by members of the party in government. And so they would not push the government very hard to ensure that the fund was established and to ensure that the council was established. We decided, because climate change is an existential threat, to bring together members of parliament from both houses who are passionate and who are concerned about the matter. And so we established the Climate Change Caucus, which has a very big membership and it has got a huge voluntary contribution.
First, I want to take this opportunity to thank GIZ for organizing this very important event. I also want to thank Moses Kajwang and Abala for setting the stage. I think the political angle, you have given it very well. And I will not dare even add anything, because if I add anything, I'm going to spoil. So I will not dare do that. Further, I want to thank all of you who have come to attend this very important session. And I'm particularly excited because most of the people who are here from the counties are directors of climate change, chief officers, or CECs in charge of environment and climate change. So we are in a right forum where we can now talk technical language without worrying at all. So allow me to read my statement as I prepared it, and if I would choose to make any extra remarks, I will do so. So let me go ahead and read my statement as a keynote speech. It is an honor to stand before you today as the keynote speaker to this critical site event, financing climate resilience in cities and counties. As we gather here at the Devolution Conference, we are reminded of the urgent need to address the climate crisis at subnational level. Climate change is no longer a distant threat. It is a present reality that affects every aspect of our lives, our economy, our health, our infrastructure, and our environment. Today, I will focus on the state of climate finance in Kenya, with a specific orientation towards funding at the county level and explore how we can mobilize resources to build resilient communities in Kenya. Kenya, like many other countries, is already experiencing the devastating effects of climate change. From prolonged droughts to erratic rainfall patterns, floods, and rising temperatures, the impacts are felt across all sectors. According to the Kenya Meteorological Department, the frequency and intensity of extreme weather events are expected to increase in the coming years, posing significant risk to our communities, especially in urban areas. Kenya is particularly vulnerable due to the diverse climate zones and reliance on agriculture, which employs about 75% of the population. The World Bank reported that climate change could reduce agricultural yields up to 50% by 2050. Kenya is experiencing frequent climate shocks, posing significant economic risks, with estimated potential real GDP losses of up to 7% by 2050. Climate-related disasters in Kenya are attributable to extreme climate events, with 70% of disasters from natural hazards caused by climate-related events. The cost of climate action in Kenya were estimated at $62 billion, with government expected to provide about 13% of this budget, and 18% is required from international support. Despite these challenges, Kenya has made significant strides in addressing climate change. The National Climate Change Action Plan 2022 to 27 and the Climate Change Act of 2016, amended in 2023, provides a robust framework for climate action. However, the success of these initiatives depend on adequate financing, particularly at a county level. Counties are at the front line of climate change, and they require sustainable funding to implement adaptation and mitigation measures. Kenya is a signatory to the 2015 Paris Agreement, which sets out the mechanism for funding adaptation and mitigation mechanisms which mandates counties to deal with climate issues through setting commitments to reduce greenhouse gas emissions through nationally determined contributions or NDCs.
We've had a wonderful session involving all the three speakers, beginning with the city manager of Kisumu, who highlighted the importance of financing resilience in urban areas and the cities, and also mentioned that this financing should not come with so many conditions. I know financing must come with some conditions, but not those that are preventing actual implementation. On the senator, on his part, mentioned that they are working on a formula to refinance FLOCA, which I think is good news for the county governments who are here, and also mentioned that counties should adopt a smart approach towards seeking for climate financing. And he also committed to move Parliament to approve additional allocations to counties in a timely manner so that projects can be implemented. Now, the governor was just sat down, gave us an overview, walked us through the climate finance landscape in Kenya, beginning from the global level right down to the county governments, and emphasized on the importance of developing our carbon markets, since there's a lot of potential as provided for in Article 6 of the Paris Agreement, and mentioned other instruments like the green bonds, which already some counties are benefiting from, and also lauded the formulation of the climate finance module, which is will be launched at the end of this session, and said that the climate finance module is a good format for mobilizing climate finance for building a climate resilience